This poor creature can't be
First sample of blood.
my maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
At dawn we row. Hi, Jacob. Alright. This is quite
Where are we headed?
cinematic.
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What?
Will
Who
there
is
be
she?
D&D on the
woman?
weekends? There
Don't
will
play me
probably
for a
be
fool.
some.
You used me to locate
Most
that
likely.
skull. You must know who she is.
I thought you were a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it. I had my suspicions. But when you
It
took the blood
was...
sample
no,
from the
it's not
corpse
looking
of
good for
poor
schedule-wise,
William,
yeah.
I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again. From a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
And for that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this... affliction.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed and have a place to hide.
Ah.
I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So, what do you say?
Man, this man's putting in quite the deal.
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
If we get back onto
Dr.
first,
Swansea, thank goodness. I was
first
beginning to be
would be
concerned.
great, but
Worry
I
no
just can't
more,
yet.
Nurse Crane. for
That's
I
fine,
bring
we'll have
good
some
news.
weekend ones, yeah.
Oh, Doctor, what a
The
night.
dates will be
we lost
rotating
2 more
around.
patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Sick.
You can do better than that. Nah, it's my turn.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Do I not get a choice? Release. I'm not gonna kill
No
him.
more. Not tonight.
We're gonna
Not
be
like
nice.
this.
We're not gonna kill.
I will not take another life.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go. But no famished hunter.
Who's dying? Not that guy.
I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Apparently
Thank
King
you.
Richard's
Nurse Crane.
affair isn't in
Yes,
North
Dorothy
Reading. I found
Crane.
it's
Welcome
45
to Pembroke
minutes south
Hospital,
of
Dr. Reed.
Boston. That's
Your
not too
office
bad.
has been prepared.
So it's like a 2-hour drive, basically.
I would like to ask
I
a few
think, I don't know.
questions first. What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Nice. We must talk to everybody. Alright, let's see what her quality of blood is. Actually, we haven't met her. Is she not on here? Sean Hampton. Dyson. Oh, she's there. This is the hospital. Why is she in a different area? She's the pillar of... Huh.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
I don't know what the plan
Actually,
this
yes.
weekend is.
We met once
But-
before at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I
We're like
remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research
weeks
about
strong
coronary bypasses.
doing this.
He had
Yeah.
nothing but praise for you.
True.
He
We
was
could try and
also
do
very
something, but
confident
maybe.
about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed.
So going down these side
This
roads is very
hospital does not
important
lack talented
because it
people.
increases the value of their
Just
blood
lacks
if we
will.
so choose that we need to kill them in the future. Kidnapping Dylan, oh boy.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
Hint available.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Cool. Need more hints. Okay. Hint required. Alright.
Goodbye,
Goodbye.
Dr. Tippett.
Welcome back. We can always get more.
And I thought last summer.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Milton! Milton!
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
A shotgun? What? How much money do I have? I have 40 shillings. I have... many more bullets. Frick. I bought some bullets. Okay, that's enough. I don't have enough money to buy this stuff right now. We'll come back to him though. I do want to ask some questions though.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I'll bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
Interesting.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped from the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
Dang.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
New investigation. Are we out? We're out of questions. Okay.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Milton. Blood quality 1000. Not bad. Although I did want to check out this. City, you. Your city needs you, I'm assuming is what it says. Saved by efficient medical aid. Is a blow struck at the start of the flu epidemic. Volunteers make the difference. Interesting.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
It's here again.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Jacob, it's you.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
This guy's name is
I
Elwood.
really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood. Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed.
How? What do you mean, how?
Sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious,
Elwood is
perhaps.
apparently a name.
But who
so.
wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is
That's
rest.
really good ice cream.
And then I can go back to the people who need me.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
The spoon is really bent.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But
Bye,
I
I'll see you
recognize
tomorrow.
Miss
Bye,
Harriet
Jacob.
Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Interesting.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for life.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Huh. I think that's it for this guy.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Oh boy.
I cannot enter.
That was a shiny piece of paper. Alright, let's see. Dear brothers, I must now draw your attention to a very important point. The use of garlic as a protection against vampires. Let's be crystal clear on the subject. Garlic will never protect you against those creatures. No matter how fresh, how strong, and how smelly, garlic is totally useless as a defense. I can never say enough how damaging that novel of Bram Stoker has been. Yes, of course, the population of Slavic countries place garlic cloves in coffins. Yes, of course, inhabitants of Santorini Island hang garlic cloves on their windows. There would be so much to write about this place. And someday soon, I hope to go back to this island to further explore its occult tradition. But that is not to protect the living from the devil. It is to tell the dead that they are aware of their malevolence. It is a symbol, nothing more and nothing less. So please, by all means, yes, wear garlic, show garlic, hang garlic, and tell the shadows that you are not afraid. But if you're looking for supernatural protection, you will have to search deeper, much deeper into the forgotten secrets of the occult tradition. For here is the truth, my fellow brothers. Garlic does not repel vampires, but all the fresh plants will hurt them. It is as if their bodies could not stand the presence of the botanic elements. I have seen an enraged vulp flee when whacked with a rose. Yes, a simple rose. I have witnessed a violent Ekin fall down and beg for mercy when struck by... Whoa, what? What the frick? Okay. And I would get struck. Hold on. I can fall down and beg for mercy when struck by a wooden stake. I don't know why it is so effective, and I would give my left arm to find the answers to that mystery. But the truth remains, nevertheless, vampires are sensitive to fresh herbs and plants and wood. From facing the woods, the shadows, how and why, by Usher Taltry, primate of St. Paul. That was a long note.
Too much energy for so little.
Bella. For reference, Bella is currently liking every single one of my tweets. And I'm just getting a wave of notifications. This is hilarious.
I wonder why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
That's hilarious. This person is asleep. They aren't important. You're a doctor.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
One second, everyone.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please...
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking...
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Where's my frame drive? Oh, there it is.
Well, there is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Life in London. Personal question.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
I think that's it.
Do you need my assistance?
Not at all. I'm sure that you are used to gaining people's trust with your impressive skills. Well, it will not be the case with me.
Details healthy. Alright.
Thank you for
I hate this guy.
We'll talk later.
So I know we're not killing anybody, but what about that person?
What can I do for you, Doctor?
I don't need anything from you.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Personal. Got nothing. I'll be coming back to you about that.
I'll see you later.
Now, there's supposed to be a guy outside in the courtyard, but there's more people in here.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here, then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest, then.
Don't waste your time with me.
Huh.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Oh, so much freaking stuff.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Interesting. Anything else?
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially...
Hint. Features questions the Pembroke hospital's efficiency. I believe that brought up her
welcoming.
quality.
I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Oh. Save beds for patients who can pay. Ah.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
I don't believe it should be going anywhere, so I think we're good.
Goodbye,
I think we
Mrs.
talked enough to her. Alright, let's see. Is there anyone else that we can talk to, or are we going to our room?
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
there's a person here.
I'm quite busy right now.
Oh, I hate you. I hate you.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Actually, wait, there was a new person right there.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
A vampire? Oh.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I don't know.
Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
It's ironic because I'm the vampire and she isn't.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the
Maybe
garden
you shouldn't tell people that you're a vampire.
The staff here are not your enemies.
Because you will end
They're
up being
here
killed.
to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
I freaking hate this person.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it's such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Oh,
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Freaking bruh.
It's locked.
Now, where is this person? Supposedly here.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
I died. Frick. You've been defeated. You'll find... I didn't get to freaking read the tip. Oh well.
Another night with the glorious Mentality.
Alright, let's go finish off those guys. We have less blood to deal with. So we'll have to restock soon. Alright, let's dodge out of the way. Oh boy. No, frick! What the frick? This is annoying. I need to be freaking smart. I could just use bullets. I could just equip the gun.
Another night with the glorious battalion of Pembroke.
Come on, just be relentless. Let the stamina recharge. Okay, I need to make sure my stamina isn't running out. Alright, let's charge. There we go. A photograph of a smiling and loving couple with few words written on the back. Milton and Pippa forever. Dang, someone died. Rip. A lead stick, okay. Good to know. Let's go back into the hospital, I guess. So we do have to still go to our office. Let's grab this first. Grease and screws. Alright, public notice. Prevent influenza. Cover each cough and sneeze with handkerchief. Walk to work. Do not spit. Drink from your own cup. Avoid crowds. If taken ill, go to bed and send for a doctor. To make a mask, take a piece of ordinary cheesecloth, 8 by 16 inches. Fold it to make an 8 by 6 inches. Boop boop. Next, fold this to make an 8 by 4. The cords about 10 inches long. Each corner apply over the mouth and nose as shown in the picture. Okay, so they're teaching people how to make masks even back then. Interesting. Oh, don't mind if I do a little looting. Oh, frickin' hacksaw. Does that do more damage? 58, 65. They freaking got me a thing fast. Is there anything in here I can have?
It's locked.
Dang it. Oh well.
This must be the place.
This
It's
is a
definitely
nice
away from
office.
prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Actually, let's see if we can upgrade. I don't have the parts for it. Okay, so we'll just analyze the blood. Oh, like your regeneration serum.
William
Okay.
Bishop's blood is much more unstable. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so
It's a rare opportunity and almost a privilege to approach a vampire, to observe their most intriguing physical and psychological traits with a scientific and rational eye. Make sure to close that when you're done. Here are some of the most fascinating abilities I've personally observed over the past 10 years. While interviewing a few vampires, or Ekin, as they prefer to call themselves, supernatural speed, a vampire can act and move like a mortal in his actions, but the trained eye will spot that they have the keenest senses and can react quicker than any mortal. On a few occasions, alarm, surprise, necessary to flee, I have seen a vampire move so quickly it is almost as if he vanished, just to appear somewhere else. The human eye cannot follow their movement when they act so quickly. But it is not a teleport or dematerialization. It is only a supernatural speed. For me, it is a cat-like attribute, which allows them to run, dodge, or jump longer and faster than us. I also noticed that such speed seems to exhaust them, and that they are bound to physical limitations. Mesmerism, one of the most powerful abilities a vampire can deploy, is the capacity to force a mortal to obey them. I call this mesmerism. But it has nothing to do with their mortal ability to alter a subject's mental state. A vampire can bend a mortal to their will, and they can even break a mind. A vampire I interviewed even told me the more a subject tries to resist, the more permanent the damage will be, as if the vampire can literally fracture their target's psyche. The same vampire explained to me that this ability required time to master, and that the results could vary wildly from one subject to another. Implant a false memory, erase a painful one. The possibilities are endless and frightening. Blood awareness. This may be the most catastrophic ability of all concerning vampires, since it is the cause of so many tragedies for them and us. Are you freaking kidding me? I was reading that. Oh wait. Every drop of blood. Vampires crave for blood. They must use their will to restrain themselves from frenzied blood drinkings. Every drop of blood they can see. They need blood to function, and to express their full hunger or thirst. This need for blood may explain why a vampire is so aroused by it. A vampire confessed to me that blood can sometimes blind him, since its smell and attractiveness can be so strong. When he focuses, a vampire can almost see blood all around them. Inside warm blood through walls. On a supposed clean weapon, etc. The same vampire told me that he can see if a mortal has clean blood or is ill. And that in some cases he can even sense diseases, infected clothes, or even items in a room. If this is true, it could have so many medical applications. It almost beggars belief.
Much time.
I can't freaking read. That was a long piece of writing. I think that's everything from the room. I can go to sleep now. Alright, let's see what we got. Blood barrier. Cost none. Duration 5 seconds. We probably should increase health. Let's upgrade this. And if we can, upgrade this. We need the extra health. And we need to get more blood, since we're not going to be doing as much blood sucking as normal playthroughs would be.